What's up guys, my name is Ethan, and in today's video we're going to talk about the top 5 underrated credit cards of 2023. It's pretty surprising how little attention these cards are getting, especially considering all the benefits they offer. In this video we'll be diving deep into the main features of each card, and I'll give you my take on why I think they're highly underrated. So without further ado, let's dive right into these 5 highly underrated credit cards. And first up on our list is the Capital One Savor One. Not to be confused with Capital One Savor card. I think Capital One tries to make their names as confusing as possible. This is a card that I think if more people knew about, they would definitely be interested in. Right off the bat, the card comes with no annual fee and a welcome bonus worth $200 in cash back after $1,000 to spend on the card in the first 3 months. However, that $200 in cash back could be converted to Capital One miles if you have the Venture or Venture X card, and Capital One miles are usually valued at around 1.8 cents per point, meaning that welcome bonus could be up to $370 if you redeemed it for travel through one of the Venture cards. So the welcome bonus is definitely solid, and with no annual fee, there's nothing really to complain about. But where this card gets really interesting is with its earning categories. The card earns 3x on dining, entertainment, popular streaming services, and grocery stores, and 1x on everything else. You can also earn 10% back on Uber and Uber Eats purchases, 8% back on Capital One Entertainment, and 5% back on hotels and rental cars booked through Capital One Travel. So overall, some really solid earning categories, and I think the strong point is the 3x on grocery store purchases, especially since this is a no annual fee card. Across all credit cards, the grocery store category tends to be one that's lower on most credit cards. And if it is higher, it's usually on cards with an annual fee. A card like the American Express Gold Card earns 4x on groceries and dining, but it comes with a $250 annual fee. This card earns 3x, but it has no annual fee. And the Citi Premier, which also earns 3x on grocery stores, still has a $95 annual fee. So it's pretty hard to ignore just how good those earning categories are, especially compared with most other credit cards, even cards with an annual fee. And that's the main reason why I would say this card is highly underrated. One other benefit on the card, which I think makes it even more impressive, is that it comes with no foreign transaction fees. And that's really not typical on a card with no annual fee. And as far as downsides on the card, there aren't really any major downsides. If you were being really picky, you could say that the welcome bonus spend requirement of $1,000 in the first 3 months is kind of high compared to some other no annual fee credit cards, like the Chase Freedom Flex and Freedom Unlimited, which only have $500 in the first 3 months as their spend requirement. I think this card is a really easy pickup and makes sense for pretty much anyone. But an especially good setup to pair this card with is a Chase setup, which usually doesn't have a very strong grocery store category, or a Capital One setup where you could redeem your miles for travel. All right, the next card on our list is the Capital One Venture Rewards. This card definitely does not get a lot of attention because it's often outshined by its older brother, the Capital One Venture X. The Venture X is definitely a great card, but I think a lot of people will find many of the benefits they're looking for with the Venture X could be had through the Capital One Venture. So the Capital One Venture comes with a $95 annual fee. The welcome bonus on the card is 75,000 Capital One miles after $4,000 of spend in the first 3 months. Again, Capital One miles are usually valued at around 1.8 cents per point, meaning that 75,000 point welcome bonus is going to be pretty easily worth over $1,300 in value. And by the way, that's the same exact welcome bonus on the Venture X. The earning categories on the Venture are really simple. You earn 2x miles on all purchases. You can also earn 5 miles per dollar spent on hotels and car rentals through Capital One Travel. Personally, I'm not a big fan of travel portals as they take away opportunities to earn status and get waived resort fees. So the main earning category I think you'll be interested in on this card is 2x on everything. And by the way, that's almost exactly the same points earning categories as the Venture X. The Venture X does earn more on travel booked through the travel portal, but other than that, the cards earn the identical 2x miles on everything. So far in this respect, the card is pretty much toe-to-toe with the Capital One Venture X, but with a lower annual fee. Moving on to some of the credits of the Venture, you do get a $100 global entry or TSA pre-check credit. A lot of other annual fee travel cards have that, but it is a really nice benefit that will save you a lot of time in the airport if you don't have that already. You also get some lounge access with the Venture, which is pretty cool for just a $95 annual fee card. The benefit is nothing too exciting, as you get 2 free lounge visits per year in Capital One or Plaza Premium lounges. This lounge benefit doesn't include any guests, and the footprint of Capital One and Plaza Premium lounges isn't too impressive. But for a $95 annual fee card, to have a lounge benefit is pretty unique. And if you're only traveling once, maybe twice a year, then this might be all the lounge access you need. As far as other perks that come with the card, you're gonna have no foreign transaction fees, 5-star status with Hertz, which allows you you to skip the car rental counter and have a larger selection of car rentals to choose from. You also get some minor benefits through Capital One Dining and Capital One Entertainment. But one of the biggest perks to the card is that this card allows you to transfer your Capital One miles to hotel and airline travel partners. And this is likely going to be the best way for you to get the most value out of your Capital One miles. So overall, I'd say this is a pretty good card, and you're getting most, but not all, of the same benefits that you would with the Venture X, but for a much lower annual fee. And if I had to guess, I'd say there's probably a lot of people holding the Capital One Venture X that could probably get away with just holding the Capital One Venture. Now, as far as downsides to Capital One Venture, I think the main downside is that the lounge access perk is kind of limited. But even then, lounge access is a benefit that's pretty rare for a $95 annual fee card. So even though there's not a lot of locations and you can only use it for one person, I'd say it's not anything to get too excited about. And if lounge access is one of the most important features you want on your travel card, then I'd probably recommend the Venture X instead. But just looking at the card itself, there are hardly any downsides, and I think it punches well above its weight class in terms of its earning category, lounge benefit, and the ability to transfer your Capital One miles to travel partners. So this makes for a nice, simple setup and a great way to get more value for your Capital One miles. All right, moving on to the next underrated card on our list, we have the Chase Freedom Unlimited. Now, I have to say there's nothing very interesting about the Freedom Unlimited, but that's what makes it really highly underrated. A lot of people overlook this card because of the earning categories, which we'll go over in just a minute, but it's a pivotal piece in one of the most important points ecosystem, which is the Chase Ultimate Rewards ecosystem. And that's going to be one of the best points currencies to earn if you care about getting free travel. But even if you just care about getting cash back, this card is really solid on its own as well. So the card comes with no annual fee and a welcome bonus of $200 back after $500 of spend in the first 3 months. So that welcome bonus is going to be worth $200 if you're redeeming it for cash back. But I would recommend you redeem your Chase Ultimate Rewards for travel. And if you do have a Sapphire card, that bonus is going to be worth around $400, since Chase Ultimate Rewards points are worth about 2 cents per point. So for spending $500 in 3 months, it's pretty easy to get around $400 in value in travel. So for me right there, this welcome bonus alone makes it pretty hard to pass up this card. But looking at the earning categories on the card, you're gonna earn 5% back on travel purchased through the Chase Travel Portal, 3% on dining and restaurants, including takeout and some delivery services, 3x on drugstores, and 1.5x on everything else. Now that 1.5% back category is a huge reason why I think this card is highly underrated. Because there are a lot of other credit cards out there that earn 2x back on everything, a lot of people just automatically assume that this 1.5x is not a good deal. But I would say that the points that you're earning are usually more valuable, or at least a lot easier to get a lot of value from than other points currencies. For instance, none of the other major points currencies like Citi, American Express, or Capital One have very strong hotel transfer partners. Pretty much all of those hotel partners are gonna have points worth 1 cent per point or less. But I can very easily transfer my Chase Ultimate Rewards over to Hyatt for around 2 cents per point. So for me, earning 1.5x on this card is a lot like earning 3x back, since I redeem a lot of my Chase Ultimate Rewards points for 2 cents per point. Plus this card earns 3x on dining and drugstores, and that's something that no other 2x earning card really has. So I think it's worth pointing out that the earning category is really not that bad, especially since Chase points are so valuable. Now, to be fair, if you are focused on cashback, getting a 2x earning card might be better for you. But if you know the value of using points for travel, then you know Chase points are super valuable, and this card is going to be the important catch-all Chase credit card in your setup. So as far as downsides, I'd say the only downside is if you're focused on cashback, then some 2x earning cards might be a little better than the Freedom Unlimited. But since there's no annual fee, it's really hard to say that there is a downside. And because of its place in the Chase ecosystem and the really valuable welcome bonus, I'd say this card is very highly underrated. All right, next up on our list is the no annual fee Chase Inc. business cards. Now, I know a lot of people know about the Chase Inc. business cards, but even then, I think these cards are highly underappreciated because they have so much potential to earn Chase Ultimate Rewards points. So just to be clear, we're looking at both of the no annual fee Chase Inc. business cards, which is the Chase Inc. Unlimited and the Chase Inc. Business Cash. The Inc. Unlimited earns 1.5% back on everything, just like the Freedom Unlimited, and the Inc. Business Cash earns 5% back on office supply stores, internet, phone, and cable on up to $25,000 in spend. Now, these are business cards, but I've talked a lot before on my channel how I think pretty much anyone can and should try to get business cards, especially if you're interested in using credit cards for free travel. Getting a business card is really not that hard as long as you apply as a sole proprietorship, and even if all you did was occasionally sell things on eBay or Facebook Marketplace, you could qualify for business cards. So don't let that stop you from getting these cards, and comment below if you have any questions about applying for business cards. So as I mentioned before, these cards both have no annual fee, but they come with a very nice welcome bonus of 75,000 points after $6,000 of spend in the first 3 months. Now that spending requirement of $6,000 in 3 months is a little bit high for some people. And if you're in that category, just know there are a couple ways to raise the spend on your card without spending money out of pocket. And I did come out with a video, which I'll link to above, that explains some strategies you can use in order to meet these minimum spend requirements. But the main reason why I think these cards are highly underrated is because of their massive welcome bonus of 75,000 points. If you have a Sapphire card that allows you to transfer your points to travel partners, then that 75,000 point welcome bonus can easily be worth $1,500 in value. And if you decided to get both of the ink cards, that's going to be $3,000 in value for just 2 cards with no annual fee. And even better than that, if you use this in a player 2 strategy, which is where you refer your cards to a friend or family member that you might plan on traveling with, then you're also going to earn referral bonuses every time you refer these cards. My wife and I have been doing this a lot this year, and after I got my ink business card, I referred her to hers and got a 40,000 point welcome bonus. Once she had her card, she then referred me for another 40,000 points. So every time we open these no annual fee ink business cards, we earn a minimum of 115,000 Chase points. And since we can each get a minimum of 2 ink business cards, if we took this to the max, that would mean we would earn around 460,000 Chase Ultimate Rewards points, which could be worth $9,200 in travel. So yeah, just the welcome bonuses on these cards could be worth a ton. And they've been a fantastic way for me and my wife to earn a ton of Chase Ultimate Rewards points. As far as downsides, there's pretty much no downsides to these credit cards. And the Ink Business Cash, with its 5% earning category at office supply stores, can also be a great way to earn points through regular spend. Many people will go to Staples when they sell $200 gift cards for no activation fee, because that's also a great way to just earn a bunch of Chase Ultimate Rewards points. So if you can figure out how to meet these minimum spend requirements, which I would say for a lot of people is totally possible, then you're going to have a huge source of Chase Ultimate Rewards points and a ton of value in free travel, especially in a 2-player setup. And that's why I think these cards are highly underrated, and basically every human that is looking for travel with credit cards should get them if they can. You should get these cards for sure. All right, on to our last highly underrated credit card. We have the Wyndham Earner Business Card. This card probably has the most unique travel benefits and potential of any credit card. And on top of that, it has some great earning categories and credits. So the card has a $95 annual fee, but it does have a welcome bonus of up to 75,000 points. You'll earn 50,000 points after you spend $3,000 in the first 90 days of holding the card, and you can earn the last 25,000 points after spending $10,000 on the card in the first 12 months. The card earns 8 points per dollar on Wyndham properties and gas, 5 points per dollar spent on marketing, advertising, and utilities, and 1 point per dollar on everything else. Wyndham rewards points are worth about 1.1 cent per point, and if you're able to get the full 75,000 point welcome bonus, that'll be worth around $825 in value. The card also gives you 15,000 points every anniversary year of holding the card, and at 1.1 cents per point, that's around $165 in value. So pretty easily this card will pay for its annual fee and then some. That 8 points per dollar on gas is a huge category, and it beats pretty much any other card in that category by a mile. So all the benefits I've described so far make this a pretty good card, and you might be able to argue that it's underrated. But the big benefit that this card gets you is automatic Wyndham Diamond status. Wyndham Diamond status gets you some nice perks like suite upgrades, a welcome amenity, free Avis and budget car rental upgrades, and a few others with Wyndham, but it also allows you to match your Wyndham status to Caesars Diamond status. Caesars Diamond status gets you some nice benefits like waived resort fees, free parking, discounted show tickets and room rates, and a free $100 dinner, but it opens up a ton of perks with the cruise lines. I was able to get 2 free cruise offers through my Caesars Diamond status, which I break down in one of my latest videos, so check that out if you're interested, and that can be worth a ton on its own. But you can also match match your Caesar status to Hard Rock Icon status, which comes with some other great benefits like free parking, waive resort fees, discounted show tickets and room rates. And when I matched my Caesar status to Hard Rock Icon, I also got a $100 credit that I was able to use at the Mirage Hotel in Las Vegas for a really nice dinner. So just to summarize, with the Wyndham Earner Business Card, you can get Wyndham status, Caesar's Diamond status, Hard Rock Icon status, 2 free cruises, and all of the benefits associated with all of those statuses and perks. And for me, that's why this card is totally underrated. So for anyone interested in travel, I would highly recommend you look at the Wyndham Earner Business Card. And if you like to travel to Las Vegas, then you'd be crazy not to get this card. By the way, if you're interested in travel credit cards, then I'd recommend you check out my videos on the top 5 travel credit cards and how to travel free using credit cards. Thanks for watching, guys. Hope you enjoyed. If you did, please subscribe, and I'll see you next time.